On the record, and up next we have a sentencing in People versus William Chapp. It's filed 26-7132FH. Counsel, you want to state your appearances, please?
Melissa Goodrich, Wayne County Prosecutor.
No, and I go for Mr. Chapp, who appears in person in custody to my right.
All right, good afternoon, and we're here for sentencing on a charge of felonious assault. It's a 4-year felony. Guidelines were scored at 0 to 17 months. There's a couple misdemeanors, a drunk driving and an assault. I had a chance to review not only the pre-sentence report, but also some AA sheets submitted by the defendant and a letter from the jail chaplain about his participation in ministry programs and Celebrate Recovery back in the jail. Mr. Nightingale, have you had a chance to review the pre-sentence report with your client?
Have your honor, finding no errors or omissions, the advice scoring does appear to be correct.
Ms. Goodrich, any additions, corrections, or scoring challenges from the people?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Nightingale, anything you want to say on your client's behalf?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. So Mr. Chapp comes before the court at 23 years of age. He does have some prior history. He's got a prior felony, 3 prior misdemeanors. I think this is certainly his most serious brushing with the law in terms of having a case and where there are victims. Other than that, his history is pretty limited, but he's also only 23 years old. So that kind of cuts both ways for him. Mr. Chapp is still technically HIDA eligible. HIDA is not a part of this plea agreement, but I do think it's something that the court should consider his young age. Further, his long history of substance use disorder here. Certainly I don't think that we're sitting here in this position had Mr. Chapp been able to maintain his sobriety. His PBT on the scene was a 0.2, not a 0.2, a 0.2, which is fairly substantial. The actual crime lab analysis came back at 0.186. And so, certainly he was highly intoxicated at the time that this occurred. He did plead no contest due to intoxication. In discussing this matter with him, his memory is fuzzy, to say the least. Mr. Chapp's main goal in getting through this process was to make sure that he could get to treatment eventually. Our plan today was to come to sentencing and have a letter for him that the court could be assured that he was going to leave the jail and go right to treatment. The issue with Mr. Chapp is that he has been in jail now since 159 days. So I'll let the court do the math there. But when he goes to apply for inpatient treatment places, they're saying now that he's been sober for too long, and so he's not eligible for inpatient services. Which seems to sort of fly in the face of a lot of the reason for seeking treatment in the first place. Nonetheless, that is, at least from my understanding, the reason that we do not have that letter today for the court.
Yeah, we've run into that problem in our treatment court with some frequency, and it's a bit frustrating.
Right. And so I did want to let the court know that we did actively try to get Mr. Chapp into treatment. Unfortunately, we were not successful. I think his plan, as soon as his feet hit the street, is to continue down that road of seeking actively treatment, whether it's inpatient, whether it's outpatient, whether it's intensive outpatient. He's very willing and knows that it's necessary at this point that he gets a hold of this problem for himself and for his family. This is, I don't think, anything that Mr. Chapp ever thought that he would be sitting here facing these consequences for. Certainly not for almost getting in a fist fight with his grandfather on the side of the road. That is a terrible look, and he understands that. I think that he's committed to making sure that this never happens again. And part of that is seeking the treatment that he needs. He does want the court to know that he's pursuing his GED classes while he's in the jail. He does understand that the recommendation here is for additional incarceration. We are asking the court, rather than to order additional incarceration, to sentence him to probation after today. He does have 159 days of jail credit. He is within his guidelines if the court decides to do that. If the court wants him to sit longer, he does want to ask for either trustee or work crew. He does want the court to order him into CET programming. I think that's an indication that Mr. Chapp is taking this very seriously, and he understands there's going to be consequences today, but he wants to continue to better himself while he's facing those consequences. that makes sense. So, Judge, for all those reasons, with his limited history, with his young age, with his obvious substance use issue, we're asking the court to time serve him today, put him on probation, order him to get a substance use assessment, and to participate in that treatment as he is ordered to do so. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chap. You don't have to say anything today, but you're welcome to. Is there anything you want to tell me or no?
Yes, if I could apologize to.
Go ahead and stand.
I would like to apologize to the victims for my actions and would like to let them know that once I'm out of here, I am going to get the mental health and the drug abuse and alcohol abuse assessments and the help I need so I can better my life and so nothing like this ever happens.
Okay, you've been on probation twice before, right? So you had chances to do all that in the past.
Sure.
You have a seat. Ms. Friedrich, any recommendations from the people?
Oh, yes, thank you, Your Honor. We're here because on December 18th of 2025, the defendant engaged in an argument with someone and held up what she perceived to be a gun at Speedway. He then left the scene and crashed his vehicle. He then became irate with his passenger and family members who tried to help him and began threatening them and started throwing punches. His blood alcohol level was at 0.186. He admitted to using marijuana that night as well as the alcohol. He's 23 years old. His first police contact, I was surprised to see, was 10 years old. As stated, he has 1 felony and 3 misdemeanors. He's unemployed with a 4th grade education, but he's pursuing his GED while incarcerated. His guidelines are 0 to 17, so this could be a proven case considering the significant public safety concerns that were caused by his decisions and actions that night. However, I believe that the PSI recommendation for 1 year of jail with credit for 159 days is measured. I would ask the court to follow that recommendation. He can continue with his substance abuse meetings while at jail. And he is over 21, so I believe that prosecutor consent is required for a HIDA, and we had declined to offer that due to the serious nature of the offenses. Thank you.
Okay. I mean, you said held up was she perceived to be a gun. Do you have any greater clarity on that? I mean, I thought there was a
muzzleloader
firearm,
was found in the vehicle, so it's believed to be a gun. He said it was a pipe.
but there was a gun in the vehicle.
Yes, muzzleloader.
They did recover a muzzleloader.
Okay, which is a gun.
Yeah.
It's a firearm.
That is a firearm, definitionally speaking, yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. Mr. Chap, if you please stand for the court sentence. All right, well, Mr. Chap, you're 23 years of age. You have a prior felony, 3 prior misdemeanors. You know, we've certainly seen worse criminal records in the court. The advisory guidelines are scored at 0 to 17 months, which would put me at a presumption of no incarceration, but probation instead, unless there's some reason for incarceration. Here, I think there are reasons for incarceration. The public safety risk, firearm crime, your recent or your prior efforts on probation recently, and that were not good. And the fact that there was a felony firearm charge that would have had a mandatory minimum 2 years that you benefited from the plea agreement. All of that in the mix, I think some incarceration is certainly appropriate. In this case, I find it really troubling. You're driving drunk at more than twice the legal limit. And then you're engaging in road rage, confronting some other driver at a gas station, and you're pointing a gun at her. I mean, you don't remember. So, and there's a gun in your car. So guess what I believe? You pointed a gun at her. That's what she says. You don't remember, and there's a gun in your car. That adds up to you pointed a gun at another person because you're drunk out of your mind and mad. And then you take off, continuing to drive drunk and crash your car. People show up, some family members and some members of the public, and you threaten to kill them. They're trying to help you get your car out. Your prior criminal history, although I said it's not, extensive, it includes a prior impaired driving. It includes drugs, and it includes a prior assaultive crime. You've been on probation before in 2021 in Missaukee County. Unsuccessful discharge. I had you on probation from 2023 until last summer on a drug case. You didn't violate probation, so you got a successful discharge there. And then 6 months later, you're doing this. So I agree with the Department of Corrections. Why would I put you on probation? You didn't succeed before, and then when you did succeed with me, 6 months later, you're pointing a gun at somebody drunk and ticked off. You know, the people in the community are entitled to think, are entitled to go about their day without some drunk, angry man pointing a rifle at them. A lot of times when people are pointing guns at people, I'm always thinking, is this a prison appropriate case? And I mean, I kind of think it is. So it's a real close call on whether to give you a year in the county jail or send you off to prison. I think, you know, the prosecutors not pounding the table for prison here today. They think that the year in jail is a measured response and that that's appropriate, proportionate. You know, it's hard to disagree with that, especially given your relative youth. So as I said, it's a very close call, but I'm going to follow the recommendations from the Department of Corrections. I'm going to order on the felony charge, you do 12 months in the Sheboygan County Jail with credit for 159 days previously served. I'm going to on the misdemeanor charges, or you serve 93 days in jail on each of those with credit for 93 days served. There's $168 in state cost, crime victims assessment of 130. There's court costs of 350. Yeah, I'm not going to approve you for any, I mean, you'll get good time credits in the jail if you don't misbehave back there, but I'm not going to give you any additional credits. We'll see how important these things are to you. If you want to do GED, do it, but you're not going to get any time off your sentence. Okay. So that's a sentence within the advisory guidelines. I think it is proportionate to the circumstances of the offense and the offender for the reasons that I've placed on the record. Mr. Chapp, if you want to appeal, you can file an application with the Court of Appeals. If you want a lawyer appointed, you have to make that request within 6 months. I'm going to ask you, or we're going to hand you a piece of paper about those appeal rights, ask you to initial one copy so we have a record that we gave it to you. And the other one is for you to fill out if you want to take an appeal. Now, generally, Mr. Chapp, when somebody's in front of me and I give them a talking to about you're on the borderline of prison, when they come back, what do you think happens? Yeah. And so hopefully I won't see you back here. All right, good luck to you. Oh, I'm sorry, there's also $225 in OWI restitution. And the weapons forfeiture, we were not doing a weapons forfeiture, is that
We
correct?
asked that be ordered to be returned to the owner, Robert Stilla.
Okay, weapon will be returned to the owner, Robert Stilla.